We are live on a Friday at Ticor Title.
What up?
I am Ryan Lipsey. This is Haley Collier. What's happening?
Hi.
How
Almost
are
left
you?
hanging.
Oh my
Good.
gosh.
Happy Friday. It's already into November, which is crazy. I can't believe it. It's insane.
Oh my gosh. I know.
It's insane.
We don't have a president as of yet, but we do have a statement of information class. So we get to learn today about why it is so integral to any transaction that's a purchase to have the statement of information. There's so much in there, so many pitfalls can be avoided, right?
Completely.
Nightmare scenarios just with one simple form. So this is Ticor Title Talk, and this is Plays of the Week, and we had some plays this week that could have been avoided, some real bad title situations with just a simple form known as a statement of information. So what's that all about, Haley?
Yeah, so I think number one, it's important to remember kind of exactly how title goes about issuing the preliminary reports and what comes on it and what could, set your clients or you as the agent, kind of in this spiral of, oh my gosh, what's going on? What's happening? What are all these liens? All that kind of stuff. So it's important to know that when we get the property address, we run the address and title, and then we also run the GI index, general index. So what does that mean? We run the person's name.
Okay.
So anything that could be on that person's name, or if there's a similar
Against
name,
their social or something?
yeah, say there's a similar name of John Smith. How many do you think liens that could have came up on that name are going to come up on that report? A lot.
Yeah.
It's a very common
Super
name,
common name.
especially in San Diego. We have a lot of common names here. So it's important for you guys to know that, not right away when we issue the report, will those come off. They come off when a statement of information is received. And so that's
because I'm able to take Patrick Murphy or John Smith and match up socials. And so this would be attached to our seller. If it is, it'll have his social on there. If it's not our seller, not our problem.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. So most liens, most judgments on there, they do have the social security number on there, or they have a prior address. Sometimes they even have all of that. They even have the driver's license number, all that information. So that's why it's important to get it to your title company. And it's also important for you guys as agents to be a little educated to let your clients know that the title company needs this information. It needs to have your past addresses. It needs to have your social security number. We need to have, previous marriages, because we have to do our due diligence and just make sure that, there is nothing lingering. There's no other liens, nothing that could come up before you transfer your property.
Okay.
So that's kind of the main importance of that. And I think it's important to, I get a lot of pushback, or when I was on the title desk, a lot of pushback on, well, my clients have already filled out all this information. Why do they need to do it again? Because they already have to do it, when doing loans for other houses. Well, we don't get the 1003 of that information when they're doing a loan to buy another house. We don't have that. So they could have filled out that information, but the title needs it on our end because we have to search their name, their social security.
As Andrew Greer would say, pro tip, get the SI filled out when you're getting the signatures on the listing, at the listing presentation, right? That's what we advise. A lot of people just made it part of the paperwork. And look, they're all they're signing like 27 and a half forms anyway, add another one in the mix. And then we have what we need, and your escrow team and your title team are armed with the data that we need to eliminate what could be a real time suck.
Yeah, and it's also, you guys need to know, too, how we get that information, why it could come up on the report, because I can't tell you how many instances there's been where we've gotten calls of like, oh my gosh, there's $100,000 tax lien on this person. Like, what are you talking about? This is insane. Like, where did this come from? And it's like, oh, well, let me call our title. Let's see what we have on it. Hey, do we have an SI? No, we haven't received an SI yet. Sure enough, we just have to explain. We just need the SI, and we get the SI back. The social security number doesn't match up, and we remove it off the report.
One of the obvious ones, because I've dealt with this probably like 8 to 12 times in a 20-year career, is where the dad, there's a senior and a junior.
All
right?
the time.
So you have Fernando Sevilla, senior,
Yeah.
and then junior, and then you have the conversation, inevitably with the son. It's like, hey, I've been through this when I got a credit card, when I got a car, when we bought the condo, now when we're buying the move-up house. What do we do? And so, easy fix. We just get that social security between father and son, and eliminate what the sins of the father, in this case, literal sins of the father, and take them off title, and we can proceed. So what are some of the things that we can avoid or expect to avoid, like familial type, similar name type liens? But what else with the previous addresses and the social and everything? What does that give us? What is that?
Child support liens, that's a big one. Child support liens don't go away. Those do come up under the person's name. So as soon as we run that general index, we do see that there would be a child support lien. Not necessarily, that's not always on the property. So if you get a profile, or if you ask us like, hey, can you run this property, see what liens are on the property, that sometimes may not come up because it's attached to the person's name. So we wouldn't have access to that until we ran the full general index through actually ordering the preliminary report.
And some stuff attaches to the social and not the APN, and then it goes into escrow, and magically, like state tax liens or IRS liens show up on the APN, and they're like, where did this come from on the prelim? Because they're lying dormant and on the social following the individual, and then when that social attaches to a transaction on APN somehow, they come up on the prelim. It's crazy.
It's just, moral of the story, I would say, is just pay your taxes, pay your liens, pay your judgments, pay your credit cards, pay any auto services, really pay anybody who could put a lien on your name, because chances are at some point you are going to have to deal with that.
It doesn't go away, especially the IRS. That's the acronym you don't mess with. So, look, we're here on a Friday. This is our training slot, and we just like to impart knowledge on things from our experience. But, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We said at least a couple times here recent. And this is a preventative measure you can take that is not cumbersome. It's something you can mix into the packet when you take the listing already. It's something that can be mailed, right? Pretty simple to fill out.
Also, too, it's a peace of mind for you guys as agents and for your clients, because now you do know if something does come up on the report and you may not have looked at it before your client saw it, and they were like, call you and they're like, Ryan, what are all these tax liens on this? What is this? This isn't me. How did this come up? And you're like, oh my, and then you internally have a little freak out because you may not have known. So then it's like, well, let me call my title people, and then you are upset with me because it comes up on title, but it's like,
how could you let this happen,
how did this come up? And it's like, oh, well, we just need to get the SI. Let's just get the SI. We can clear it. So you guys can totally give your clients a peace of mind by just knowing, like, oh, we just need to get the SI. We can take a look at it. Let me have my title company.
And when they say, what a pain in the ass this is. I don't want to fill out another Social Security, another form. We get it. Listen, we get it. But you can come back to them and say, look, it prevents us from the day before closing getting a call saying Christopher Smith has $40,000 in state income tax liens, and it's not our Christopher Smith, but you still have to deal with it because title's going to be like, whoa, what's this $40,000 lien? It just saves trying moments like that.
And I can tell you guys from experience, sitting on the desk multiple times, it would be at the 9th hour, we would get the SI with all the funding and recording documents. So we would get it the day of closing, run the SI. So then that means we run their name, their general index. And sometimes there would be things that would come up. And it's not on anybody's fault of why the SI didn't get to somebody quicker. But that's why we want to educate you guys to make sure it does happen in the beginning of the transaction.
Because think about it, the escrow gets it, they get it the title. So the escrow is hounding the seller for this SI. They get it a week before closing. Yeah. They scan it in, send it to us 3 days before closing because it was the weekend or something, you can imagine. And we're like, oh, we have to clear the SI. But then they're like, hey, we're closing. That, you want to avoid that, okay? A little bit of proactive activity like getting the statement of information. You guys, we harp on this. We've talked about it in previous episodes on how a little bit of prevention. The reason why is because across all title providers and all escrow providers, it's going to save you and the seller the most heartburn and the most time. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you from the heartburn. It's like a little bit of Pepto-Bismol right up front in the transaction.
And it's kind of, this just kind of hit me. It's very ironic. The purpose and our main purpose of title insurance and why you get it as an advocate on behalf of your buyers and sellers is to ensure your buyers free and clear of any judgments or liens or anything that could be on title from that previous seller.
A clean bill of health.
A clean bill of health. So it's kind of the main important document that title might need to ensure our buyers free and clear of any judgments or liens from that previous seller. So it is a very important piece of paper that we have to ensure you guys peace of mind, your buyers, clients peace of mind, and we help. That's what we need to close the transaction.
We usually get there.
Yeah.
We usually just get there. There's the easy way or the hard way, right? The hard way is like chasing the seller around. Why did they go to vacation in Mexico in this week? That I'm trying to get this document signed. I don't know, but they did, and so I'm trying to get that. And then faxes aren't working, and then emails spotty down there at best. And then so you could do it that way, or when you take the listing, sign this, sign this, sign this. Give us what we need. I mean, the arsenal that you're giving your escrow and your title team. You guys, you're hooking them up. There's not going to be that 11th hour freak out moment where a similar name, Saint Nick, Santa Claus, whoever, the Easter Bunny, liens come out of nowhere and just stall. Literally, we've all been there. Stall the transaction, and next thing you know, we're in frantic mode. Everybody's yelling at everybody. Everybody's assigning blame.
We have to hold funds because we have to wait to get another demand to see
and the
what we
lender
have, and
says escrow, and escrow's cursing title, and title's like, what happened? And like,
it's a never-ending
It's a vicious
circle.
cycle.
It's a vicious cycle, but that's why we want to advocate on behalf of you guys, give you guys information that just to help your jobs, make it a little easier for you guys, and that's what we want to help do. So, can you think of anything else for importance of SI?
I mean, I think that covers it for the SI. I mean, judgments. Every judgment has this Social Security. So child support, anything that goes in a judge finds, has to rule in and weigh in on something. If it's called a judgment. So all the Social Security is attached to all of that. Solar, if the solar contract has the one person on it, but it's not our seller, and that transfers over, now you got a whole world of solar hurt that isn't yours anyway, that you shouldn't be going through that. Like, wait a minute, there's not even solar on this house. How did we get?
We can
like,
do
how many people we have?
A whole video on solar too.
And then one guy that had all these child support liens and swore up and down that he didn't have child support liens, and then we checked the Social.
Oh, he swore he didn't have a child.
Yeah, with that woman. And,
that was the thing.
Yeah, and then the new wife, and that's a different webisode. We'll get
that's meant for the title reality show.
That's like the Maury Povich title moment. You are the father. It says right here, Social Security.
Interesting how that works. Well,
yeah, so that's why we need a statement of information. Little tiny bit of work can save a whole lot of heartburn and a lot of overactivity.
Exactly, and a lot of saving just a lot of headache and time and going back and forth. So definitely get that taken care of. And if you guys, we have blank ones too. Let us know. We'll send you a PDF.
I have like a whole pad of them too.
Well, yeah. So we'll send you guys that. So
escrow officers out there, if you need them, we can send them. We're happy to help you. They're cheering us on right now. Escrow officers are like, get them the SI.
And
listen
also
to them.
too, they do come in the back of the prelims at some point. So if you do make it to that point in the prelim after all the
after the map,
after
the map is the last page.
No. Well, then it's all the other like minutia, like standard title,
Western regional exceptions.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, and then in the back it will say what we need, and there's the SI.
Cool.
So.
Alrighty, well, I'm Ryan. She's Haley. We're at Ticor. Until next time.
Yeah.
Have an awesome weekend. We're so grateful to be part of the club. Oh, and did we get Shelby over here? Where's Shelby? Hey, Shelby. Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Have an awesome weekend. See you soon.
Bye.